Today's guest is bringing visibility into an invisible process with his company R0. He's already launched two successful startups, and one of those was valued over $1 billion before his 30th birthday. So without further ado, please help me welcome Mr. Eli Harris. What's up, Eli?
Headed to the top, ain't none of y'all stopping me. Used to say I never get a ring, Charles Barkley. Now I got a wife, got kids, on property. Bubble-eyed beans that look like that be watching me. Okay, I lied about the beans, but that was hard though. I'm still in that black act, but she starred though. Cause that's all it takes. I'm flashing for. I'm on my grind, not no more fashion show.
AJ, thanks for having me. We're working hard, chasing the dream, and appreciate the opportunity to tell the story and meet you guys. Thank you.
Absolutely. I'm excited to talk to you as well, man. So let's just start off first with the basics, who you are, where you're from, that sort of thing.
Yeah, but my name is Eli Harris. I grew up in Southern California, Santa Barbara, which is not a bad place to call home. I ended up going to college out in Massachusetts, and then I actually spent the most of the last 8 years in mainland China. Started out working foreign service, did a couple of Fulbrights for the U.S. State Department, and then I got involved in technology and worked for a drone company called DJI, and a few years later started my own business manufacturing large battery packs. Wow. And that's the business that's really taken off and grown, and is now valued at $1.4 billion. I learned some hard lessons along the way, and I was bought out a couple of years ago. Prior to the company reaching that kind of evaluation. So nobody can take away from me that I founded it, and I'm very proud of that. Sadly, I sold out a little too early. But now I'm heads down and working hard, and I've been 2 years since my newest venture, R0, and we're off to a good start. We've raised almost $100 million. We're backed by Mayo Clinic, Tesla, or the fund of Tesla, and we're getting some really good traction. So.
Nice.
Yeah,
okay. It must be serious. Mayo Clinic is behind you, right? So let's jump right into it. Tell us exactly what is R0.
Yeah, so we're a modern biosafety company. We're trying to bring the best disinfection technologies to market, and also offer a software layer so that we can actually measure risk in real time and also audit disinfection activities. So where this all started is in the wake of the pandemic. We were looking at the global response, and our response was to go pick up chemicals and go hose buildings down with backpack sprayers and foggers, and that's what we did. And we found that problematic for a few reasons. One is that chemicals are harmful for the environment, and yes, there are better solutions, hydrogen peroxide based, so be it. But largely speaking, a lot of the chemicals used are environmentally harmful. Chemicals largely only address surfaces. There's a huge labor cost to actually applying the chemicals. And then also, we're asking our custodians to do an impossible task, to turn over tens of thousands of square feet of real estate every night and manually apply disinfectant. And I think there's a lot of issues with compliance. And it's not the fault of our staff. It's just that it's impossible to do a thorough, deep clean manually. Clorox put out a study that shows even in hospitals, 53% of surfaces are missed in manual wipe downs. And that was mind boggling. Yeah. So then we went to go research, what do hospitals do well at infection prevention, and why has that not been socialized? And what we learned is that the gold standard in all hospitals is the use of these large UVC light towers. And we've been using them for 80 years in hospitals. And they're UVC light towers that we wheel into operating rooms in between surgeries. And then we disinfect the surgical rooms with UVC light in between surgeries to make sure what one patient has doesn't carry to the second. But what we learned is that the pricing is an artifact of our healthcare system, and it has nothing to do with what it costs to build these systems. The technology is not rocket science. All of the hardware is largely off the shelf. There is no secret sauce or special IP, but these healthcare manufacturers go in and they sell these systems for over $100,000 because they can, because there's value in the healthcare system to extract. Right. So when we looked at this as engineers, we saw it wasn't that complicated. We went out and we raised a lot of money from Mayo Clinic, the fund of Tesla, and we just straight up re-engineered a system. We just reverse engineered one and built one that outperforms anything on the market today. and we're pricing it based off what it costs to build, not extorting value from the healthcare system. So that's where we started. In the last 9 months, we've done more than $50 million in sales. We're working with about 20 professional sports teams, NBA, NFL, NHL. We're doing a lot of the biggest corporate real estate and banks in the US. We're doing a lot of schools, a lot of jails. And I think that we're going to see a big shift away from chemicals. And while UVC is new in education, in commercial environments, it's not new technology. We've been using these in hospitals for 80 years. They've just never been made accessible to other organizations.
Right. And so that's what I want to kind of get into is with the accessibility of them being in organizations, because I heard the sales number that you said. And so what I'm wondering now is I see that you said you got some sports teams, you got some big facility organizations, stuff like that. But is the goal here to get this basically in every business everywhere pretty much? Is that pretty much the goal? Or is this going to be more of a thing to where even at home, like will you do business to consumer, or is this more so a B2B thing?
There will be consumer arm eventually. The B2B is one, is it's a bigger market, and two is actually there's actually more risk in B2B spaces. I mean, most people aren't getting sick when they're home alone. They're getting sick when they go to school, they go to the gym, they go to work. So it actually has a larger impact on keeping people safe. But I do think we're going to see a global shift away from chemicals, because chemicals, I mean, there's a lot of human error. There's a lot of lack of compliance. They're bad for the environment, and they largely only address surfaces, where UVC, it does air and surfaces. And then we can also push data. So you actually get a report in real time, and you can see who ran it, what room, what time. You can create reports by building, by day, by week, by month, by operator. And we can actually look at what was done. Right. So that's extremely powerful to be able to actually track and monitor the activities. I mean, right now we still have folks signing checklists. They sign their initials, and that's not actually an objective assessment of risk and compliance.
Absolutely. And so, on this channel here, I focus on pretty much teaching people how to start a cleaning company as well as how to grow their cleaning company, right? And so, while like you said, most of the cleaning companies are starting to get into the realm of offering disinfectant services via the foggers, right? And and my stance on it, because I agree with you 100% about the chemicals. That's why I have a cleaning business starter kit. So with my kits, we do the simple green because we know it's non-toxic, right? But right, and then what I was wondering is, so with your company though, because I like the way it sounds, is there any type of way where you could see either there will be some type of collaborative effort there, or is there a way to basically you're alleviating us of that duty so we can go back to regular janitorial? What's your view on this?
Yeah, that's a great question. But before I answer it, quick fun fact: Simple Green is actually one of our customers, and they use our products to disinfect their corporate facility.
Wow, okay,
which is pretty cool. Yeah. But so really, so we don't offer a service. We provide the product, and we're actually selling to a lot of janitorial companies because, like you said, there's a lot of pressure to offer a disinfection service. Right. And what we actually modeled out is that while our products, they don't mop or vacuum or clean, you still have to clean, right? You take out the trash, you remove any dirt, but this is a replacement for fogging or spraying. And it's actually a lot less labor than fogging or spraying, and there's no chemical cost. So you can charge your same contract per square foot or hourly or whatever, however you charge your contracts, you can charge your same contract, and over time, it actually saves you money because you're paying less in chemical and you're deploying less labor. So we've actually sold to janitorial service companies who replace the use of Clorox 360 sprayers with our products, and then we're able to model out an actual payback period where in 8 months it pays for itself, and then you're just making more money.
Wow. That's cool. So now what I'm wondering is this, so the technology basically is UV light, right?
Yep.
So in this case, the towels that you're selling, so how long would they last? Is it pretty much forever as long as you basically replace the light if it ever goes out? Like, how does it work? How long would the product last?
Yeah, so the hardware it's simple. I mean, it's essentially a lamp on wheels with a timer. So the hardware will last decades. The bulbs are rated for 16,000 hours.
Okay.
So every 16,000 hours, you replace the bulbs, but we actually replace them for you and we recycle them. So we're a double bottom line company. That first bottom line is we have to be profitable enough to survive.
Right.
Second bottom line is we signed a pledge for environmental and social impact. So we're really trying to do everything right. We manufacture in the US. All of our service is US based. We hire really diversely. We have extreme environmental scrutiny in our whole supply chain. And we even we can track the number of hours you've used the bulbs because it's a connected device. And then we'll replace them for you when it's time to replace them, and we'll recycle them.
Gotcha. Okay. So here's, because I'm just actually, I guess I can talk about this with my people on my own time, but I'm just wondering, how could we bolt this together? How would we charge the customer if we were to come and use R0 and then turn around and try to bundle it as a disinfectant service? So I'm thinking maybe as long as they sign the contract with us, as far as the cleaning, they can sign a 1-year contract. We'll leave the tower in their facility complimentary. It comes with it. And then if you cancel service, well, give me my towel back too, right?
Yep.
That's just one way, right? Is that possible?
Yep. We have some clients doing it that way. Other clients, they have a van and they'll take it site to site if they want to do that, or you can leave it with the client. We also have corporate clients like the 49ers. The 49ers, they bought the product and they have ABM operated. So there's also there's different models we've explored. But one other thing that I really want to dive into is the reporting. Okay. We wanted this to be as easy to use as possible. We learned that a lot of the custodial staff oftentimes is very high turnover. You're training and retraining your staff all the time, onboarding new people, losing people. So our design target was a microwave. There's only 4 buttons: on and off, start and stop, up and down. And then with you, we can pre-program the entire building into the device. So all the operator does, they just wheel it around, they select the room they're in and press go. And that's all they do. And then it pushes reporting back to you on your phone, your computer, so you can monitor what was done. And you can even share those reports with the client. And that's been actually a really useful marketing tactic, the ability to be able to share those reports.
Yeah, that's huge. Because like right now, a lot of times, like you were saying with the foggers, there's really no way afterwards other than signing or giving them a sticker to really prove that, hey, this place is disinfected. So I love that.
And people are doing all kinds of crazy stuff, like putting like marking things on desks and trying to catch you and looking at cameras and stuff like that. And it's turned into this whole mess with these systems. I mean, it's objective. I mean, did it run and where did it run? And you can, so there's no. Yeah, I've heard just the craziest stories about teachers and schools doing stuff in the classrooms to try to catch the custodians. So, well, they didn't do this, and it's the Wild West right now.
Absolutely, man. All right, cool. Well, it is an entrepreneur channel in general, and so with your experience, I have to start diving into some of this stuff as well. So one thing I noticed is you're the co-founder of R0. So what I wanted to kind of ask was about partnerships, like. Me personally, I've never been the biggest fan of partnerships, but obviously I don't have the experience that you have. So what I want to know is at what point would it make sense to go into a partnership, and what would be maybe some of the benefits that you see in partnerships?
Yeah. So I guess unlike you, I will have partners in anything I ever do for the rest of my life, because I think building a company is really hard. It is really hard. And you need multiple people who have all their skin in the game, who are working 7 days a week, every week of the year. I mean, this stuff is hard. And there's just not enough hours in the day to try to do what I'm doing alone. I think it takes multiple people who care that deeply and will do whatever it takes to win. And I think, to be honest, in the kind of venture world I'm playing in, the kind of Silicon Valley startup world, I'm either going to make a lot of money or I'm not. There's no in between. Right. And if having partners helps me get that outcome, I'd rather have a smaller piece of the bigger pie, but I want the pie.
Right.
So it's yeah. So I figure it's either going to work or it's not, and I want to have the best shot on goal at making it work.
Right. Yeah, it goes back to that thing. I guess it's like, do you want to own 100% of $100,000 business, or do you want to own 2% of $1 billion business? Right.
Yeah.
So I could definitely see that point. And also, too, I think the key point that you hit on was the fact that the partners have to all really live and breathe this stuff. And I guess my experience, I just never had nobody that wanted it as bad as me. So maybe I have to get my experience up, and you know what I mean? And maybe I like partnerships.
Honestly, no matter how much I pay somebody, they're never going to care as much as I care.
Exactly.
It's different when you're the owner, when you're the founder, when it's your business. It's different. No matter how good an employee is, no matter how much I pay them, it's not the same loyalty. And it's not always up and to the right. It's not always sunny days. Like there's going to be sometimes months long stretches where shit is hard.
Yeah.
And if you don't have all your skin in the game, if you're not an owner, that person's going to leave. So it's not easy.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%, man.
Yeah.
All right. So if somebody watching this video right now, they were interested in getting some investors, what advice would you give to that person? Do they have to go to Silicon Valley or what? How would it work?
No, so I actually think Silicon Valley is it's getting a little played out and saturated, and California is so expensive, and I think we're actually seeing the startup systems boom in Texas, Nevada, Idaho, the whole Raleigh-Durham area. It's Utah. There's a lot going on. It's decentralizing, especially as everyone moves more and more remote. I think that you don't need to be in Silicon Valley at all. But I think one thing I would say is when looking for investors, I think much more important is getting the right person on board. There's a lot of money out there. You have enough conversations. You'll probably fall on your face a few times, but there will be money there. But I mean, honestly, more than a few times. I mean, most people got to raise money. It takes, I don't know, 10, 20, 100 conversations to find that money, but it is out there if you keep trying. But I wouldn't be so precious about ownership. I really think it's going to work or it's not, and it's hard. And you want to have the best shot on goal at making it work. And I'm all for sharing in that. So I think I would give up more of the company to get the right partners, get the right investors who can actually support the business, open doors, bring customers, bring contracts. That's going to go a lot longer way than getting the dollars and no support.
That's huge, man. You gave me something to think about because I wouldn't be so big on what was the key word? I forgot the exact word you said on ownership.
I used the word precious. I wouldn't be so precious about it.
Wouldn't be so precious on ownership. I'm gonna have to ponder on that one. That's big right there because I am very precious on it, right? Yeah. And maybe you got to let go a little bit. I like that. All right, cool, man. And one last one before we go into our lightning round. So if you've seen somebody watching this video right now, well, you wouldn't see them, but if somebody's watching the video right now, right? And so they're thinking, all right, that's cool, Eli, but I just don't know if entrepreneurship can work for me. I want to do it. I think I can, but I'm kind of scared. What could you tell that person who's scared to hop off that fence and go get it started?
Yeah, if you're going to wait till you're ready, you're never going to be ready. Nobody's ever ready. There is no playbook. I mean, we're all operating with imperfect information. Whatever idea you have about how you're going to start, you're probably wrong, and that idea probably will change, but it will lead to something. And most of us, I mean, if everything went south and I ran out of money, I go back to my mom's house and I get a foot massage. You know, it's the rock bottom isn't that low. I mean, I think you take the leap and something will happen, and it might not be what you thought would happen, but it's going to lead to a much more interesting life. And staying where you are probably isn't going to get you that. Whether it's you're looking for money or looking for something, excitement in your life, whatever it is, staying where you are is not going to make that happen. So I'd say rock bottom isn't really that low. Most of us have a roof to go back to, a family to go back to. We'll be okay. It will lead to something.
Exactly. I couldn't have said it any better. That was perfect, man. All right, let's jump into this lightning round. So I'm going to say a word or a phrase or something, and you just tell me the first thing that comes to mind on it.
All right.
All right. First thing first, top 5 entrepreneurs.
Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Jack Dorsey. I'm going to stick with those 3.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
I like it because you know what? When you going big time, simple is definitely. It seems so. At least in my experience, the smaller you keep it, the better. So I love it. You don't get into the YouTube guys too much.
Not too much. Not too much.
I got you. I figured it. All right. What else we got? Favorite genre of music.
Favorite genre of music. Oh man, my mom's a hippie. I grew up on the Beatles, Bob Dylan, Billy Joel. I grew up on the oldies with my mom, and it just reminds me of my childhood. And nothing's like hearing those songs to take me back to being a kid. But my mom, and The oldies, 70s rock.
I love it. Love it. All right, cool. Next one, Instagram or TikTok?
Neither. I don't use any social media. I used to have an Instagram, and actually I still do for work. I used it to promote work, but I'm not in my personal life. TikTok, I don't use. Social media is a trap. It just makes me feel too competitive, insecure. I see the business value in it. It's just in marketing. In my personal life, it didn't serve me well.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to be selfish and interrupt the lightning round now because you opened up a can of worms on that. So look, man, so here's what I want to ask you. So I guess the first question is, so what do you do in your downtime? But before we get into it, I guess, how often are you even taking downtime?
Very little, not enough. It's not sustainable. But so the two things I try never to compromise on is just getting enough sleep and doing some workout every day, even if it's just 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I think sleep and exercise change everything. Right. And if I just get too tired, if I push myself too hard, I get too tired, I just don't enjoy life. Like even the things that I know I like, the things I know I enjoy, if I'm just too deeply exhausted, I can't even enjoy those things. Right. So the two things I try always to at least get 7 hours of sleep. And I try to do at least ideally half an hour a day, but a lot of days it's only 10, 15 minutes. But even if it's just 10 minutes and I do it in my hotel room or on my floor, just 10 minutes is something. I think sleep and exercise, there's nothing more important.
Absolutely. All right. One last one before we go back into the lightning round. These are selfish questions. I need to know this, right? So on the weekends, are you staying to like a pretty much schedule a little bit on the weekends as well? Or is it just kind of, if you wake up and you want to work on some business stuff, you wake up and work on some business stuff? How does your schedule pretty much look?
Yeah, I mean, the first year, maybe year and a half of building this business, I was really working every day, weekends too. And I actually, in the office working, or just doing work on my computer, whatever it was. Right. I'm now at a point which I needed to do is on the weekends, I'm still online. I'll have my phone on me. And if there's something urgent, somebody calls, I will always answer the phone. But I'm not actively going to the office and in carving out hours of my day to sit at home on my computer. I'm trying to have somewhat a little more of a life and rebuild family relationships, friends, a little bit of dating here and there. But I still got my phone on. I'm not quite at the phone off yet, but I'm taking the weekends out of the office, definitely.
Absolutely. And I want to point out something to the viewers too. You said rebuild those relationships. I thought that was important because it's literally when you go into entrepreneurship and you really are serious about it, all of that stuff is dead. I'm telling y'all now, like my mom could tell you, like, everybody got the voicemail, you know what I mean? And I will say, listen, email me, schedule a time, something, but you got to shut it down, man. And like here recently, I started to rebuild those relationships since I'm a little bit more, more comfortable financial position. But that was huge. So I appreciate you sharing that. All right, a couple more lightning round questions, and we'll wrap it up, man. All right, so Bezos or Musk, who do you pick?
Musk. Definitely. He's a better storyteller, and I think storytelling is so powerful. Everything that Musk is doing and he's raising money on, he hasn't actually done yet, but he gets everyone to buy into the ideas, and he'll say, I'm going to go to Mars, and I'm going to prove that by sending somebody to space. Right. There's no relation to actually inhabiting Mars and sending somebody to space, but he says he's going to go to Mars. Right. He sends someone to space, and he said, I'm going to prove it by going to space. He goes to space, and everyone believes him that he's going to Mars. Right. And he gets that's how he gets that buy-in and that almost cult following, and investors throwing literally billions and billions of dollars at him. And I think he's one of the most brilliant storytellers I've ever seen. And I actually, that's a great example is you can share your vision and you create these milestones along the way that you publicize, and it gets people to believe in the vision. Yeah. Okay. I like it. All right. Favorite book? Favorite book? Oh man. It's sad. I haven't read a book in way too long. It's not good. That's not good. I'm trying to think of a book that was impactful on me in my youth. I remember in high school, reading that book Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse.
Okay.
And it's kind of a story of Buddha becoming Buddha and his journey to enlightenment and all the suffering that he went through to find that peace. And I think I took a lot of that with me is, to achieve that state of peace, you do have to be willing to put the work in and suffer. And I think that, nothing is easy. It takes a lot of grit, a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work. And it's hard.
Dude, you know what? My next question was going to be YouTube or Facebook, but you already told me you don't do social media anyway. For the YouTube entrepreneur. So now here's what I'm curious about now, because I'll tell you one thing that I do is as I'm working, right? Quiet time is usually me and my computer, but in the background is nonstop, either A, some type of music playing, or B, or audio book, or C, some type of motivational person on YouTube. And so is there any of that with you, or is it just all internal motivation? Like what are you doing here?
I think I've been fortunate, and I try to build a lot of relationships and have mentors. And I think I am a younger guy, and I think that a lot of folks are afraid to ask for help or be humble as an entrepreneur. But I'm not. I think I'm very humble and vulnerable and share what I'm struggling with, and I ask for a lot of help. And I find that people are pretty darn willing to help if you ask for it. Especially being, young and ambitious and working hard and trying to do the right things. I've just been overwhelmed by the support I've had. As I've met people in life that I did find inspiring or did have more experience or had been successful in X, Y, or Z, I've really worked hard to foster those relationships and to stay in touch and to call them and text them and email them. And I found that people will be pretty darn helpful if you are respectful and humble and ask for it.
Right. Absolutely. Now I got to ask you this too. Do you think that, just based on some of the things you said, it made me curious. So like one of my I guess a family I look up to is the Mars family, right? And the reason why is because they built this big candy empire and they became, ultra rich or whatever, but they kept it in the family. They never went public, and they never, at least I don't think they did. I don't know if they did or didn't, but either way, as far as I know, they're still private today, right? And so that's kind of like been my goal, is to kind of be like them. But based on what you've been saying today, so here's what I'm wondering. Do you think that that's even possible to do it like that alone anymore? Or do you think you have to raise some capital if you really want to get to those billions? What's your opinion on that?
Of course, there's exceptions, and there will be people that, do cling tight to that ownership and hold all of it and do make it there. I think it's a lot easier if you raise money and bring others in. And I think it allows you to go faster. It allows you to make mistakes. It allows you to go faster and make mistakes. And you also get access to their entire portfolio of relationships and resources. And so to say that it's not possible doing it on your own, I can't say that. Some people are just brilliant. Some people have some luck. Some people, they find their way. But I, based on my personal experience, I would always rather have a smaller piece of a bigger pie and make sure I get to eat some pie.
Absolutely. Well, Eli, I really appreciate you taking the time out, man, to even speak with me on this podcast. And it's not often I get a chance to talk to people like you. So sorry that I've made it a little more selfish and asked you more entrepreneurship questions instead of just R0 questions. But I appreciate your time, man. And if somebody was interested in R0 as well as you, how could they find more about the products as well as about you if they wanted to follow you somehow?
Yep. R0.com, RZERO.com. That's our website. We have we have a beautiful website, tons of information. You can reach out to our team there. If you want to get in touch personally, LinkedIn, I do use for work, Eli Harris on LinkedIn. I think I'll probably pop up R0. Please do reach out. We're working hard. We'll take all the help we can get, and hopefully we can do some good work together.
Absolutely. Thanks, Eli. I appreciate you so much. And hopefully this interview can be able to help you in some sort of way, because you definitely provided some help here. So thanks, man. You have a good one.
You too. Thank you, AJ.
Thank you for watching my video, and make sure you hit that like button if you liked the video, because I know you did, and also hit subscribe, and right beside that subscribe button is going to be a notification bell. You gotta click that, because guess what? You never know when I'm gonna go live. As a matter of fact, I might go live right now. So make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss my videos, all right? And if you wanna start or grow your business, check out cleanbiznetwork.com, all right? We have cleaning business starter kits. We have a lead generation service to help you grow your cleaning business, all type of stuff. And also don't forget to download the Calculated Clean mobile app as well, all right? So that's what I got for y'all until you click another video and go watch, man. Watch another video, why not? Binge on it, let's go.